Welcome to Chat with the Lawyer. I'm your host, Walla Blagay, and today we have a very important topic, consumer protection issues. This is a huge issue because many of us who live in Prince George's County, who live in the Washington, D.C. area, and throughout Maryland have been plagued with this problem. And we have an expert here today to give us some really helpful advice, Ms. Karen Straughn from the Office of Consumer Protection in the Office of Attorney General. And she is head of the Mediation Unit, so very important because that is where consumer protection, that's where consumers go to get assistance from the Attorney General's office. Welcome.
Welcome, thank you.
So can you tell us a little bit about how you started?
Well, I originally started in insurance, actually, and then I got into state work, working for the state at the Maryland Insurance Administration. And when I left there, I went to the Office of the Attorney General, working for the Consumer Protection Division. And I've been there about 8 years now. And it has been the most wonderful job because it allows you to help people and try and get people education, try and get people assistance. It's been a wonderful job. It's been my dream job.
That sounds awesome. Now, let's go right into the issues because I know your office receives certain type of cases more than others. So tell us some about what are some of the popular topics that you get in your office?
We receive a wide variety of cases. Mm-hmm. We get anything from any type of item that somebody might want to purchase for sale, mm-hmm. or any services that they might want to purchase. Mm-hmm. That might include an automobile, it might include furniture, it might include a gift certificate, something of that nature. We get cases involving somebody going to purchase services like getting somebody to come to your house and do work on your house, or do cleaning of your ducts, or come to your house and do work such as cleaning of your house as a maid service, something of that nature. In addition, we get complaints involving homeowners associations and condominium associations. We get complaints involving scams. We get complaints involving the lemon law, which is, a lot of people don't know what the lemon law is.
What is the lemon law?
The lemon law is when you purchase a vehicle and it has less than 18,000 miles or less than 24 months old, and it's been back to the shop a number of times because of problems. And it's just a lemon. It's not a good vehicle. It's got a serious problem. The law gives you the ability to potentially turn that vehicle in and get a brand new vehicle. So,
and who would you turn it into?
You turn it into the manufacturer and the dealer.
Oh, interesting. And just to clarify, how would you know if you bought a car, how would you know that the car kept going back to the shop within a 2-year period?
Well, there are certain qualifications that have to be met. It has to be that under 18,000 miles and under 24 months old, but it also has to be that it's either a problem with the steering or the brakes. If it's not that, then it has to be that it's been back to the shop 4 times for the same problem, or it's been in the shop for more than 30 days.
Okay, and this person would have to, of course, been the person taking it in each time.
Well, most likely, yes, but
Okay.
if not, at least you have evidence that it's been
taken.
in the
Okay.
shop the same time. I mean, for the same problem.
Okay, and so that means that if you have a Ford that keeps breaking down, you can actually drive your car to Ford and say, to a Ford, just a random dealership, and say, look, based on the law, you gotta give me a new car.
Well, what you would do is you would take it into the shop and you would file a complaint with our office, or, you can work with the dealership, but if the dealership isn't working with you, you would file a complaint with our office, and they would have one more chance to be able to repair the vehicle involving the manufacturer. Okay. And if they're not able to repair the vehicle, then that's what we would do, is we would work with the manufacturer and the dealer to get you a replacement vehicle that's the same as what you have.
And let me ask you now, do you send now if somebody files a complaint with your office, do you send correspondence to the dealership to let them know that you're aware?
Absolutely. That's what we do, is we mediate complaints to try and help consumers to solve problems that they're having with businesses.
Okay.
And we do that through letters and through phone calls.
Okay.
We do not do face-to-face mediations. We do it through letters and phone calls, and we work with the businesses and the consumers to try and come to a resolution that both sides can live with.
Interesting. And what if the dealership just says, no, I'm not working with you all. The person bought the car, that's just it.
Well, in those cases, and we do have those cases, in those cases we have to close the mediation as being unsuccessful, but it's important that we know about that, and we track all the cases in our office and keep all those records for a couple of reasons. The first reason is that anyone who contacts our office and says, can you tell me how many complaints you received on a particular business? We can tell them how many complaints in the last 3 years. Wow. We can tell them whether the complaints were successful or not successful, what the problems were. So that's important for somebody who's deciding whether or not they want to do business with a particular company. We also keep track, because if we see a particular company that's doing a practice that we think is in violation of the Consumer Protection Act, our enforcement unit can take an action against that company to stop them from doing those practices that are unfair and deceptive.
Okay, so when the Ford says no, you just send their name to enforcement?
We don't just send their name to enforcement. When they say no, it then goes to our supervisors, take a look at it. They look and see whether it looks like there might be a violation, and we keep track of those things. We can't represent individual people, so we can't take an action on behalf of an individual, but if we think that what they're doing could be affecting a number of citizens in Maryland, then we have the ability to send that to the enforcement unit to have them decide if they want to take an action against that company. I
see. And also, many people, when they encounter a business that has, they feel that they've been wronged by, they often say, well, just call Better Business Bureau, like that, do you check into that? Are you connected with Better Business? Because it's not really clear if Better Business is like an organization or it's just online.
Better Business Bureau is an organization that does a similar thing to what we do. They mediate through letters and emails. Okay. The difference is that they don't have an enforcement arm. What they have is an ability to rate companies and to decide if a company is good or not based on how they answer. And so they have that ability. But we keep track and we work with Better Business Bureau. Better Business Bureau, if they find a company that they think it's a lot of problems, they will notify us. In addition, when we have a company that we're working on that we think is a problem, we will look to them and say, how many complaints do they have? We also go to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, we go to the FTC and check complaints through other organizations to determine if there are other complaints out there that we should be aware of.
Interesting. Okay. And also, if somebody wanted to know, let's just say you have the worst violators in your office, are you posting this online where people can search and find?
Unfortunately, we're not online in that regard. We're working on that. Our system doesn't allow us to do it at this point. Okay. We are working on creating a new system, though, and when that new system is out, hopefully it will allow us to be able to have people be able to search a company themselves. Okay. It won't show necessarily worst offenders, but you can always look up when we get that new system in place, you will be able to look up any company and figure out how many complaints they've had in the last 3 years and what the result of those complaints were. And
will be sometime this year in 2016 or?
It is just beginning to be rolled out, so okay. It won't be this year, but okay. Hopefully within the next 2 years, we'll have something up and running.
Interesting. Now let's go into another important issue. Now there is a lot of people who have complained, especially in the Prince George's County area, in the Washington, D.C. area. A lot of people would allow push people to bring your W-2s and we'll give you a car. You know, just bring your Social Security check, or bring any check that you have, or bring your last pay stub, bring your last 2 pay stubs. That's what you hear. Last 2 pay stubs, and we'll give you, and you'll leave our lot with a brand new car. Now, of course, there could be some legitimacy in that, and there could be some deception. So
Right.
how does that come to you? Do any of those cases come to your office?
We do from time to time get those kind of complaints. The concern with something like that, the reason that the dealership is asking you to bring that information is to be able to somewhat verify what your income is. The concern, however, is by bringing that information in, you're bringing in more than just what your income is. You're bringing in information like your Social Security number and information that you should not necessarily be giving that dealership. The dealerships now, there's a law that helps to protect consumers that says that when you go in to purchase a vehicle, if they are not able to resolve your financing and get you financing before you leave the dealership, that they have to have you sign a piece of paper that says your financing is not complete.
And what does that mean?
It means that when you go in and you drive that vehicle off the lot, that the sale is really not finalized at that point. Your financing isn't complete, and that vehicle isn't really fully yours at that point. And they may come back to you and tell you that that paper that you signed that said you're getting a 6% finance rate on your vehicle isn't going to come through at the end necessarily. And you need to make sure that when you get a phone call in 4 days telling you that your financing didn't go through, that you bring that vehicle back right away, because otherwise they'll have the ability to repossess the vehicle from you. And you want to make sure that you bring the vehicle back and that you work with them on financing or get the vehicle back to them and get your trade-in back, because that's the rights that you have.
Okay, and just to clarify, when is it final?
It's final when the financing is final.
With basically approved?
Yes.
Okay, and you would have to receive an approval letter, basically stating what your rate is, or what is an approval? What do you have to receive from that?
You don't get an approval letter. If you don't hear from them in 4 days, it's supposed to be that your financing is approved.
Okay.
Or if you get financing from someone else and you go in with your financing and you purchase your vehicle, you can be assured that the financing that you've gotten elsewhere from a bank is okay. It's only when you're purchasing a vehicle at the dealership and getting the financing when you're at the dealership and it's through the dealership or through the manufacturer that you need to be sure that it's final and you have actually gotten that vehicle and purchased that vehicle, because otherwise you can run into some real problems.
Interesting. Well, we're going to take a short break, and this is really important information, as you can see, and we're going to come back and talk about some of the other complaints that you see in your office, so please stay with us. Thank you.
It's your home, it's your dream. Radon test and keep it healthy and clean. Make it green, green, green.
Making it green is making sure the air in your home is healthy for your family to breathe. Make sure you test your home for the presence of radon. It's easy. To learn more, call 866-730-GREEN. Preserve your family's health and well-being. Get your home tested. Now that's living healthy and green.
Green, green, green. It's your home, it's your dream. Radon test and keep it healthy and clean. Make it green, green, green.
To learn more, call 866-730-GREEN.
Welcome back to Chat with the Lawyer. I'm your host, Walla Blagay, and we're here with Ms. Straughn from the Office of Attorney General and the Consumer Protection Division, talking about some of the issues that she sees in her office. So let's go into the Homeowners Association. You mentioned that you do get a lot of cases about Homeowners Association. Can you explain some of those cases?
Sure. Homeowners associations, condominium associations, and cooperative associations all have statutes that govern how they are to behave and how they are to act in accordance with their membership. Right. And our office regulates how they are to behave and act in accordance with their membership. And so if they are not doing the things that the statutes say they are supposed to be doing, you can file a complaint with our office, and we will mediate and try and get them to be doing the right things. And so for example, if you're trying to get records from them and they're not providing them, we can mediate with us and we'll try and get you the records that you're supposed to have. Or if they're not having meetings in the way that they're supposed to be having them, we can work on that. If they're not providing you with a budget, we can do that, things of that nature. There's also an office in Prince George's County. It's the Common Ownership Communities, COC, Common Ownership Communities, I'm not sure the exact title, but that's an office in Prince George's County that works with common ownership communities as well. So it works with all of those organizations as well. And so if there's a problem and they're not following their bylaws, you can file a complaint with that office and they can help them as well.
Okay, now have you dealt with maybe a lot of homeowners associations, especially in Prince George's County, are in debt? And that's one of the reasons why they're not functioning, because they just don't have money. In that case, have you dealt with any of those issues?
It depends on what the issue is. There have been issues where they're in debt and then they haven't paid the water bill. Yeah. Or something of that nature, and we have gotten involved in those kind of emergency situations, even though they're not statutory, because you can't, if you haven't paid the water bill and that's going to now leave all of these members without water, that's a problem. That's an emergency situation, and we get involved.
It's a health issue.
Right, it's a health and safety issue, and we get involved to try and do what we can to make sure that the water bill gets paid, so that we understand that sometimes there are things that don't get done. The snow removal doesn't get done properly, things like that. That's a maintenance issue, and we can't tell the association how to spend their money. But when it comes to a issue like water and emergency issues like that, we definitely get involved.
Interesting. Now, another issue is car title loans. They have a lot of those. Bring in your car title loan and we'll give you a loan of $5,000 to $20,000. Now, what is your take on that? Does your office deal with those issues?
Well, generally, our office, that's something that falls to the responsibility of the Division of Financial Regulation. Okay. But one of the responsibilities of our office is to help people find the right place to go if we are not the right place. Okay. So if somebody has a problem and they're not sure where to go, they can call our office and we will help direct them to the right state office or county office that can help them, or federal office if that's what the best place is, that can help them if a problem arises.
Okay, and so you don't deal with payday loans either?
No, but we would refer them to the Division of Financial Regulation and try and get them to the right place to make sure that they're getting the help that they need.
Okay. Now, so what are some of the other popular cases that you get? You mentioned the homeowners. What are some of the other ones? Well,
for example, we get cases involving scams. We get a lot of scam situations, and we try very hard to educate the public. We also take complaints of, generally we require a written complaint, but over the phone we will take a complaint if it's about a scam, because we want to make sure that we can collect the information and keep that on file, because as I said before, we work with a lot of other agencies to share information, and so we want to make sure that we're collecting as much as we can about scam situations so that we can share that information with other agencies that might be able to go after the people if we are not able to.
And what type of scam? Give us examples.
Well, the most popular scam right now is the scams involving the IRS. People are calling and saying that they're going to arrest you or fine you because you have a back debt owed on your taxes and you need to pay this money right away. And
how do you know how would you know whether it's really the IRS? Because some people are concerned because they be like, maybe I do actually owe taxes. How would you know the difference?
Well, because the IRS has come out and said, we will never call you to tell you that there is a debt owed. So that's one thing. The other way that you know is because that you don't just get a phone call saying we're going to arrest you. It doesn't happen that way. So what they would do is they would send you something in writing, and you would get called in for an audit or something of that nature first. Okay. So you can be assured that if you get a phone call saying something like this, that it's just a scam, and you can hang up the phone. Never, ever send them any money, because it's very difficult to get the money back once it's been sent, because it's very hard to find where the money goes to most of the time.
Oh my God.
Right.
And often with these things, some people get emails, and the email might have maybe irs.gov in it. So how would you know in that case that you're being scammed?
Again, the IRS is never going to send you an email to notify you that you owe money in back taxes. They're not going to send you an email to tell you that you're going to be arrested. It doesn't work that way. And that's the same thing goes for the state's attorney's office, our office, and the court system isn't going to notify you that you missed jury duty and therefore you're going to get a fine or be arrested. By phone or by email, these things are not going to happen that way. Okay. So when these things happen, you can rest assured that they are a scam. Okay. And you know, if you have any questions or concerns, call our office, because we see these things every day. We're very comfortable with being able to tell people that whether it's a scam or not. We recognize a lot of the indicators, okay. And we want to make sure we catch people before they become a victim.
Interesting. Okay. And what are some of the other scams other than ours? What's another big one that you see people are victimized by?
Well, there's a lot of very common scams. The grandparent scam is a common scam. The grandparent scam is a scam in which you are contacted by a loved one or someone on behalf of a loved one telling you that they have been arrested, and they need money, bail money. And okay. And
or they left town and they're out of town and they need you to give them, wire them some money or something
exactly.
like that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Another common scam is anybody telling any business or person that you don't know, telling you to put money on a green dot card. A green dot card is a reloadable Visa card, and they're able to simply, once you put the money on the card and you give them the number from the card, they're able to remove the money by a phone call. So it's important, we have people contacting us a lot and saying that they talked to this company and this company told them that they owed money because of something, and all they need to do is put money on a green dot card and they will be able to remove, take the money off of it, and that will take care of their debt that they owe. Wow. And no legitimate business is ever going to tell you to put money on a green dot card.
Wow, okay. So can you go through the process of your of the service you provide? So somebody has a problem, where do they go?
Well, they can either call our office and we can mail them a complaint form, or they can go right online and they can get the complaint form right online. They can either print it off or they can submit it electronically, and I can give you all the contact information to do that. But once they submit the complaint, it comes into our office. If they have any supporting documents, they need to get those in, because we can't start the process until we get all their supporting documents. And it gets assigned to a mediator, and the mediators then contact you and discuss everything with you. And we then take your information that you've provided to us and we provide it to the business so that we can get their side of the story as well. Okay. And we allow the business to respond to your complaint. And then we have both sides of the story, and so then we can go back and give you the business's side of the story as the consumer and allow you to respond to that. So that's how we begin the mediation process, by allowing both sides to have each other's side of the story. And then we begin the mediation process by having the information go back and forth and to see if there's a way that we can try and resolve this between the parties.
Now, just to clarify for someone who's trying to figure out, are you going to be their lawyer if they contact you as a consumer?
No, we do have lawyers that work in the office, but they are not lawyers for the Attorney General's office. Okay. They just happen to be lawyers. We are trying instead, everyone is just a mediator or a facilitator, basically, of trying to help the two parties come to a resolution that both sides can live with. So while we can provide legal information, we can't provide legal advice. So we can say there's a statute that provides this with respect to this law, but we can't say, we can't tell them, this is how this, this is the law, and this is what you need to do, and this is what you need to ask, and things like that.
I see. And if somebody needs a lawyer, feels that they need a lawyer, if they contact you with your office, do you provide referrals?
We can provide referrals to low-cost or pro bono lawyers, so low-cost or no-cost attorneys, but that's all we can do. We can't refer to attorneys in general.
And would they have to give you their, how much their salary or income? Okay.
We just ask them, if you think that you might qualify for a low-cost or no-cost attorney, here's some phone numbers we can provide to you.
Okay. And would someone need a lawyer for the mediation process?
Absolutely not. In fact, we generally, in most cases, ask that if they have an attorney, that they ask the attorney to step back while we're mediating, because we think it's important that that you not pay an attorney while we're doing work to help you, because we want to, our services are free, so we don't want you paying someone for what we're doing.
Okay. And how long would the process take in general?
It depends upon each individual circumstance. There are times when somebody sent in a complaint, we send it to the business and it's immediately resolved. And there are times when it goes back and forth a number of times before it's able to be resolved. And again, there are times that it's not able to be resolved. So it really depends on the circumstance.
Okay, so now if somebody wants to contact your office, why don't you provide us with the contact information?
Sure. Our hotline, which is available Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., the phone number for that is 410-528-8662.
Okay.
And our hotline is run out of our Baltimore office.
Okay.
But we have an office in Largo as well, and our Largo office is at 9200 Basil Court, Suite 301, Largo, Maryland. And consumers are welcome to come to that office in person if they'd like, to talk to someone if they want to talk to someone about their concerns before filing a complaint, or to pick up a complaint form or anything of that nature. In addition, the phone number for that office is 301-386-6200. Okay. And then our website address is www.oag.state.md.us.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ms. Straughn. This is great information. We're going to have to have you come back on and give us more information, because many people could use this in their time of need, okay?
I would love to.
Well, thank you for watching. And if you want to check out more of our shows, you can go to our website, www.chatwiththelawyer.tv. If you're interested in getting a lawyer or interested in actually getting in contact with Ms. Straughn, you can also contact us. And please stay tuned and watch more of our episodes. Thank you.
I'm starting to worry about my boyfriend. One minute he's supportive, the next minute everything is my fault. He says a couple of beers get him in a good mood. His idea of a couple of beers usually turns out to be a lot more than just one or two. And that's when I start to worry. After he's had too many beers, he gets really angry and I become the target. I hate to say it, but he reminds me too much of my last boyfriend. Aren't there any good men out there? My best friend is a social worker. She told me to try Al-Anon family groups so I could understand my feelings better. I didn't want to go because I didn't want to get into another argument with my boyfriend, but I'm glad I went. I'm starting to understand that I didn't cause his anger. I didn't cause his drinking. It's a great relief to hear a new perspective for my problems. Are you troubled by someone's drinking? You might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon family group meeting from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or visit alanonfamilygroups.org.
I've never been the type to ask for help, but I had enough.
Thank you for calling the Veterans Crisis Line. How can I help you?
Life still has its challenges, but my family and I can deal with them better now. Veterans Crisis Line. It's your call.